Governor Tim Walz is absolutely tearing it up on the campaign trail, going state to state, absolutely shredding Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and making the case for the Harris-Walz ticket and for our American values. Just look at this. Tim Walz is up to 33 events on the campaign trail. He started the day yesterday alone in Atlanta, then went to Macon, Georgia. Then he ended the day in Asheville, North Carolina, where he met supporters in the rain. Here's a picture of the event space where he spoke in Asheville, North Carolina. And now we all know that in politics, optics is everything. So let me also show you the event at around the same time that J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's running mate, was holding in Sparta, Michigan. You could see here, it appears that J.D. Vance was holding this in someone's garage, some sort of tiny garage room. It's very bizarre. They've been sending J.D. Vance now to kind of like parking lots and garages. It's just such odd optics for honestly a very odd and weird individual and an odd campaign. Let me show you some of the highlights of Governor Walz, and then I want to compare it to what J.D. Vance was saying so you could see the real difference in this messaging. And if you enjoy these videos where we highlight the rallies of Governor Walz and Vice President Kamala Harris, make sure that you give this video a like, leave a comment, and let us know what you think. It really helps us get these messages out there. So Governor Walz talks about his experience as a teacher and how he would always give his students some extra chances to learn, saying that Donald Trump did not learn his lesson the first time in 2020, but you know what? I'll let him say it.
Found enough energy to do this. He did all that before he tried to violently overthrow our election and deny a free and fair election. We need to be very clear about how we talk about that, because he lost the election, and there's no doubt about that. There's no need to have fair and balanced news coverage on that, because there is no fair and balanced. He lost the election fair and square. And look, my high school students know this, and my players knew this. You play hard, the other team plays hard, and after the game, if you lose, you'll walk across and shake hands and congratulate the other team. That's the way it works. In politics, you take it another step forward. You walk across and congratulate the winner, and then you pledge to do all you can to help them succeed, because that's good for America. Now, I did teach for a while. I think I'm a pretty good teacher, and I would always give my students extra chances to learn. Sometimes you don't learn the lesson the first time. So Donald Trump did not learn the lesson the first time, but the good news is he's going to learn the lesson in November when he gets to do it.
Then Tim Walz called out J.D. Vance for spreading these vicious lies about Haitian migrants in his own state of Ohio. And the admission that he made on the news the other day that he's willing to create stories to get attention. Listen to Tim Walz break it down.
This last weekend, Donald Trump's running mate, Senator Vance, did a really remarkable thing. He got called out by a fair and free press that are a part of our democracy and fundamental to the freedoms of this country. He got called out by that press about telling vicious, hurtful lies about immigrants. But he did something. He told the truth. They asked him if maybe it was an accident or he didn't mean it. No, he said, I admit it. I'm willing to create stories to spread fear to drum up support for us. Now, the only thing amongst this group is no kidding. We've been seeing that for years. Yeah, but at least they admitted it. So you got to ask, what other things are they making up stories about? I think you know. The reason you do that is because if you told what you really stood for, no one would vote for you. And that includes the folks who think that, because you know you have your neighbors who are out there. Hell, we have them in our families, don't we know? So, but that's what happens. And I don't really like Donald Trump, but I like what he stands for. Oh, really? Suppressing women's reproductive rights? Is that the one you want? Or is it cutting taxes for billionaires while you get screwed in the middle class? Is that the one you like? Or is it ignoring real problems, like our children being shot dead in schools? Is it those things or whatever? So I think for all of us, the truth here, you know who Donald Trump is. You know the pain that he caused.
Now let's check on J.D. Vance and see what he was saying at around the same time. J.D. Vance was lashing out at reporters, calling them sick and claiming that every single bomb threat that was made in Springfield, Ohio, as a result of his rhetoric is a hoax.
I want to tell you what's even more disgraceful. What's even more disgraceful than the policy is the effort to silence the residents of Springfield. I've seen this from the American media, a lot of people who pretend to be fair journalists. You know what they've been saying? For the last few days, Springfield has been experiencing an unbelievable number, something like 35, 40 bomb threats in Springfield in just the last few days. And you know what the governor of Ohio came out yesterday and said? Every single one of those bomb threats was a hoax, and all of those bomb threats came from foreign countries. So the American media for 3 days has been lying and saying that Donald Trump and I are inciting bomb threats, when in reality, the American media has been laundering foreign disinformation. It is disgusting. And every single one of them owes the residents of Springfield an apology. But I think it illustrates something, my friends, that is so sick from the American press in 2024. And it's that instead of talking about the crises in our country, they try to silence the people who are experiencing them. Because their message in talking about these bomb threats and in lying to the American people and saying they came from me and Donald Trump, what they're doing is trying to shut all of us up. They're trying to say, how dare you, citizens of Springfield, complain about this migrant inflow because now these bomb threats are happening. How dare you complain about the fact that you can't afford housing? How dare you complain about Kamala's open border? The media conspired to shut American citizens up. They owe every single American an apology, and they ought to...
By the way, that happened right after Vance made this whole plea that we need to tone down the rhetoric. Reminder, as he is inciting this violence, as he is inciting these threats in his own state. A reporter at this event asked him about this whole rumor, this whole lie, and told him, this is all from a Facebook post that the person who posted it on Facebook admitted that they were lying. So what do you have to say now? Vance, of course, lashes out at the media. Watch this.
Hi, Senator Vance. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News. So a woman who was behind an early Facebook post about the Haitian migrants in Springfield has now apologized for spreading false rumors. You say that you have a responsibility to share what your constituents tell you, but don't you also have a responsibility to fact check them first?
Well, I think the media has a responsibility to fact check the residents of Springfield, not lie about them.
Your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality, so if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA, and they use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long. No matter the weather, get better sleeps. I do now thanks to Miracle Made sheets. They're luxuriously comfortable, and without the high price tag of other luxury brands, I think they are nicer than the sheets used by some 5-star hotels. They're infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets, so no more gross odor. So stop sleeping on bacteria, which can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Just sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas and try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order them today, you can save 40%. And if you use our promo Meidas at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep now with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas, M-E-I-D-A-S, and use the code Meidas to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Meidas to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Now let's go back to the Governor Walz event in Asheville. Governor Walz gave away the game here of what MAGA Republicans do when they are in power, how they tell you the government doesn't work, then they get elected, and they prove that government doesn't work.
But I will say this, on the second one, this is the one thing he kept his word on, and he actually followed through with it. He said to his rich buddies, well, you're rich as hell, and I'm going to give you a tax cut. He did. He did give a tax cut to the wealthiest amongst us. All the while creating the largest debt of any president in history. And then, as our Republican friends are so apt to do, they tell you government doesn't work, then they get elected and prove it. We know that shell game. And the third thing he did, and he brags about this often, he forgets about this too. He rammed through 3 judges who made sure that women are no longer responsible for their own health care choices. And I don't know, he found enough energy to do this. He did all that before he tried to violently overthrow our election and deny a free and fair election.
And that's just the perfect contrast with J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is one of those people who purposely breaks government and then complains about it to try to score political points. Here's an example from that same event that J.D. Vance was holding yesterday, where he was asked about Senate Republicans blocking the Right to IVF Act and asking what his response was. Here's what he said.
The Senate today blocked an IVF bill. Do you have any comments you want to share about that, especially considering last time Trump was in Western Wisconsin, he shared his support for that?
So I think we have to be careful here because the Senate did not block an IVF bill. The Senate blocked a ridiculous show vote bill that had no chance of passing.
Well, it had no chance of passing, J.D. Vance, because the Senate Republicans voted against it. And here are the receipts from the vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the nays are 44. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion upon reconsideration is not agreed to.
But this is exactly the strategy that Governor Walz brilliantly laid out at his rally. MAGA Republicans tell you the government doesn't work, then they get elected and prove it. So we saw them do it with IVF. Now here is Benny Johnson, who was just implicated in this scheme of being paid by Russia as part of tenant media to spread anti-American propaganda. Here is Benny Johnson spreading more propaganda on social media, mocking Kamala Harris for saying at the NABJ event that, quote, part of my new approach is that we need to expand the child tax credit. Benny Johnson goes, why didn't your administration do it over the last 3 years? Well, Benny, they tried to do it, but once again, Republicans blocked it. In fact, Republicans blocked a bill to expand the child tax credit as recent as August. And guess who didn't even show up to the vote? You may have guessed it, J.D. Vance. Going back to J.D. Vance, in this clip, he does this all the time, actually. He sounds like he's talking about Donald Trump, but he's trying to attack Vice President Kamala Harris. But we know with all of these MAGA Republicans, everything is projection. Watch this.
We've never had a faker, more fraudulent person run for president of the United States, and we got to remind people of that every single day.
And J.D. Vance does this so much. He projects so much. He constantly sounds like he is attacking Donald Trump. We noticed this pattern, so we actually made a video compilation of him saying comments just like that. Watch this.
But I don't think most Americans are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. I think if you watch the debate, you're sitting at home, you're an undecided voter, what you saw is a person who repeats slogans.
We're going to make America great again. Drill, baby, drill.
Instead of respecting you enough to treat you like an adult.
I just don't understand a person in American politics in 2024 who's whining about what happened to them instead of using their leadership and using their influence to make the lives of American citizens better.
And we would have had a deal if the election weren't rigged and stolen.
I'd like to know how you were prepping for a debate with Tim Walz, who has described himself as a bad debater. Who's helping you, and how are you prepping?
Well, I found a good friend from back home who embellishes and lies a lot, and I'm having him stand in for Tim Walz.
People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
And we're not going to reward people who gaslight us and lie to us about what they've done in office.
We were hit with the COVID came in. We focused on that. We did a great job.
And then throughout the speech, one of the other things that we noticed was J.D. Vance was having all these bizarre kind of cognitive moments. In this clip, he said that the country never healed from the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I mean, we're very proud on our side to have the support of Bobby Kennedy Jr. And he's a great guy. I've gotten to know him very well over the last few weeks. But I think in many ways, this country never healed from the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
And as JD Vance continues to go out there and just make a complete and utter fool out of himself, humiliate himself in very easy social situations like at donut shops or at bars or you name it, Tim Walz is going out there and he's actually connecting with people in an authentic way. And this is one of my favorite videos that I've seen of the campaign. And it's a great palate cleanser to end this episode. It's Governor Walz speaking with some Gen Z college students and connecting with them face to face. I think this is so awesome.
This guy was undecided, so was this guy, and they're both coming out for you.
I think I'm decided now.
This matters. So I took him to the debate watch party, and that just flipped like that.
Yeah,
I mean, they were apathetic, and that's
It's not about agreeing on every single issue. It's about that core belief. And I said. This whole idea that you can't agree that the election was fair, this whole idea that people should have personal freedoms, which is kind of like the politics are turning over. Yeah, nice meeting you all. Yeah, really grateful you take the time again. Yeah, thanks. Go get them. Talk to your friends. Some of them are just going to say, look, I'm not that into politics.
Yeah.
The answer to that is too damn bad. Politics is into you. So get engaged, go vote. Thank you so much.
And there you have it, a tale of two rallies on the same day. I don't think it's too fair to call that Vance garage chat, whatever the heck that was, a rally, but you get my point here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hitting the like button, for subscribing. We are on our way to 3.5 million subscribers here at the MeidasTouch Network. I appreciate, and my brothers and I and everyone at this network appreciates all your support. Remember to subscribe to the audio version of the MeidasTouch podcast for new hits throughout the day, every single day, and the long form MeidasTouch podcast with me and my brothers. Okay, well, that's it for now. I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching. Shout out to the Meidas Might.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.